It is well known that Botswana has a severe overpopulation of elephants due to good management. But at this point, there's about 120,000 elephants in Botswana. That's a big overpopulation. And this situation is now arising where the elephants have got no more land. And in Angola, we've got land but no more elephants. The Botswana government have donated some 300 elephants to Angola, and via the Kissama Foundation, we are now going to relocate these elephants into the Kissama National Park. You will see now what the conditions are like in Tuli, where the vegetation is very, very limited and can barely sustain the elephant population that is still prevailing there.
The reserve itself is an area of about 80,000 hectares. At certain times of the year we can be carrying in excess of 700, 800 elephant. We believe we should only be carrying about 300, so there are a lot that we have to move out. We've got to reduce the population in some manner or means. Obviously our options are limited. Culling, which we would prefer not to resort to obviously, is the one option, and the other option is moving them to restock game reserves elsewhere.
It's been shown by the first group that we took last year that it is a good place. We've already got 2 berths there. The elephants are perfectly safe and doing well. There's one elephant down lying, but they sometimes get also tired of standing, so they lie down. And this one is lying down, but it's breathing fine, so we'll get her out. I don't see this as being a problem. We had the same situation yesterday, and to separate them in order so that they don't move too much around in the aircraft, and those poles make it sometimes difficult for them to get up. So we'll just remove the pole, and then it can get out. The airstrip where the aircraft landed is the Kabaledo airstrip, which is inside the Kissama National Park. And from there to the actual release site, where the elephants are then released out of the containers, is a journey of about an hour to an hour and a half. The first part is easy going. That's the tar surface. Then we turn off along the river, and then the going gets a bit more difficult.
I just want 2 more waters.
In the interest of the humane treatment of the animals, it is important to regularly stop and check that all the animals are okay, particularly that they've got enough water for the elephants in particular. They're very easy drinkers in transit. So we throw water over them, make sure that they're cool and that they have got enough to drink. they are in individual compartments within the containers and we release them one by one, it's just natural that they're going to go in any direction. But with communication, they form up and join together again within a few hours. And in this case, they certainly did that. The next morning, they were all together. The one elephant that came out had only half a trunk. Now this trunk was cut off by a snare in Botswana, and it's difficult for such an elephant to feed. However, now with this lush riverine vegetation, this elephant has got definitely a second chance on life.
Great. Thanks to you. Yeah, this is extremely exciting and also an emotional moment. It was an extremely difficult exercise. It's not easy to put elephants into airplanes and fly them into Africa. The roads, the logistics, the trucks, it was not easy, but this was a textbook delivery now. The elephants came out one by one, fine. You saw the one that was bathing itself with the dust. That shows it just checking the soil. And no, we are extremely happy that everything went. There's always tense moments in this sort of operation.
There was enormous interest in this release of wildlife in the park. People came from Luanda, many of them, as you could see in this film material. Many of these people have not seen elephants alive before. And with the release, there were people with tears in their eyes. And they can remember the days that there was still animals some 20 years ago in this park. And this to them is a return to normality. And I think that this whole operation has made a tremendous emotional influence on people. So you can see on the faces, they're happy. There's children that has never seen a live giraffe or a live elephant before. And I think this has got an enormous impression on them.
We've just completed the air relocation of the wildlife to Angola. But this was really sample groups, because you can't put a lot of animals into aircraft. However, now we're looking at Operation Noah's Ark. And this is the movement of larger numbers. We still need to move some 280 elephants and a number of other species like giraffes and zebra and wildebeest to the Kissama Park in Angola. We also are looking at the possibility of throwing anchor off the beach of the park, because the park has got 120 kilometers of ocean front, so that we can maybe move, particularly the elephants, with landing craft onto the beaches.